Imagine if you went to a fast food restaurant because you wanted to get a hamburger and some fries. As a matter of fact, we've seen this during the pandemic and right after the lockdowns. So you want to go to your favorite restaurant to get a burger and some fries, and ain't nobody there. You know, people don't respect other people's crafts, other people's skills, other people's jobs. And it's amazing, you know, sometimes you reap what you sow as a person, but then again, as a society, the entire society can reap what it sows too. So for all these years, people have talked about what fast food workers, you know, basically devaluing these people and not giving them proper respect and admiration for what it is they do, because it seems simple. Let me tell you, I couldn't do it. And now companies are struggling to find people to do it. So it can take forever for something as simple as a hamburger. So now fast food companies are all out of whack because, you know, I understand people are in business to make a profit, but if you're not going to pay a livable wage for something that people don't want to do, plus they get treated bad for it, and society will look down upon them for it, well, who's going to do it? I saw a lady on Facebook in a teacher's group, and she was talking about bus drivers, but she wasn't careful with her wording. And then she assumed I was a bus driver because I responded, and that's why you don't assume things. But okay. First of all, you have to have a commercial driver's license, a CDL, to drive those buses. Second of all, not all those buses have assistants or people to help. You can have 30, 40 students on those buses. I think it might be 60. I can't remember. There's different laws and regulations that go with them. And then on top of that, you can have behavior issues. The kids can be loud. They can fight. You have reckless drivers. And the least you can do is be appreciative towards these people. This particular bus driver made a mistake. I can't remember what it was. But the last thing you need is for a position that people don't like to do in America to become so loathed and hated that nobody wants to do it. Then what? I realize when there's people doing construction, Louisiana road construction projects are forever and ongoing, but they put money into the economy, they keep people employed, and then eventually some road gets fixed somewhere. But I tell you what, you may think, man, I'm stuck behind this railroad or this train. I'm stuck behind these folks doing construction. Well, what if nobody did the job? And then if you are not satisfied with how well somebody does a job, see, I was taught to lead by example. Could you do a better job? If it's not your craft, the answer probably is no. Here's one that people ain't gonna like. I hear a lot of people saying how much they hate the police. Yeah, well, we live in an organized society. You know, it's hate the police and no snitching until something happens to somebody who's related to you or somebody you know and love and care about. That's a difficult job. What would be ideal is if more good people got into policing. And I understand there's bad apples, don't get me wrong. There's no way people should be murdered when they're unarmed and not committing a crime, or if they have a toy in their hand, like poor little Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old kid. He gets gunned down, and yet Dylan Roof can shoot up a church full of people, and they take him in cuffs, and they go buy him, ironically, hamburgers, since we're talking about this particular story. So if more good people got into law enforcement, maybe we can have a difference. And then I guess I can talk about my profession, being an educator. You know, I'm in a unique space because some things that other educators go through, I don't necessarily see. I teach a particular demographic, which is the same one that I'm familiar with, that I went to school and encountered. So I understand a lot about it. I understand the language. There's certain things I'm not going to say overlook, but certain things I emphasize and certain things I minimalize. And because of that, and that's basically people skills. Because I have good people skills, according to my demographic, and I do lift weights and I do practice. I'm able to handle myself well. I don't have as many problems as other educators. I know you hear some folks out there saying they're quitting teaching and walking away from it. I have no need to do that. I'm pretty close to retiring, as a matter of fact. So, but for so long, people have said, well, teachers don't, do a good job, and teachers aren't this and they aren't that. Okay, well, when it was time for those kids to go home because the schools were on lockdown, you got to see a lot of parents have to eat their words. And the sad thing about it, people have such short memories that now that things are back to normal, I guess, those same people are right back to criticizing educators. So what are you doing if you're one of these critics? What are you doing to improve a situation? If you're one of those people, talk is cheap. Do something about it. And if you're not going to contribute to improve whatever craft or whatever field, the least you can do is stop bothering the people and stop criticizing the people who are willing to take on those tasks. And if you are a person who is on the receiving end of criticism, then like I said in one of my other videos, one simple question: what are your credentials? If a person doesn't have the credentials to speak on a matter, ignore them, because they don't know what they're talking about. Literally, they literally don't know what they're talking about, because if they did, if they actually understood, they would either A, have a solution, or B, be exercising a solution, not just talking. So what's the end goal of that? I don't know. But for wise, intelligent, thinking men, you learn, and that's the type of person who I hope to attract to this channel. You learn to appreciate people's crafts. And let me tell you, the same people you meet on your way up, you see them on your way down. So when you appreciate people, you treat people well, you respect people, and you carry yourself well, I believe in God, the God of the Bible. You may believe something else, and that's up to you. But I believe you reap what you sow, and you receive back the good that you put into the world. Not every time, not all the time, and you're not guaranteed good treatment in particular by particular people, but you'll see your blessings come back to you. But don't be one of these people who's always crying, whining, and complaining about what somebody else doesn't do or can't do, unless you're going to lead by example and help them do better.